So, what types of measures are subject to a referendum in California? Well, that's answered in Article 2, Section 9 of the California Constitution, which says that the referendum is the power of the electors to approve or reject statutes or parts of statutes, except urgency statutes, statutes calling elections, and statutes providing for tax levies or appropriations for usual current expenses of the state, which are budget. As such, all statutes are subject to a referendum except those four types of bills. Now, the courts in California have explained what types of measures are subject to the referendum with additional insight. The scope of the referendum power is generally treated as coextensive with the scope of legislative authority, and therefore any legislative decision made by a representative body would be subject to referendum in this state. So a referendum is only a review for legislative decisions, not matters that are strictly executive or administrative in nature. And that was based upon a California appellate court decision. Similarly, the courts have ruled that the power of referendum under Article 2, Section 9 of the state constitution applies only to acts that are legislative in character, again, not to executive or administrative acts. And an act is defined by the courts as being legislative in nature if it prescribes a new policy or plan. So the distinction between legislative and administrative action may sometimes present not only legal issues, but factual ones bearing on the governmental entity's intent. So as a result of this court guidance from the appellate courts in California, we know that the power of referendum applies only to legislative enactments, which is obvious at the state level for statutes enacted by the legislature. But at the local level, it doesn't apply for administrative agency regulations or executive branch type actions. And then, of course, at the state level, there are four types of statute that simply are not subject to referendum: urgency statutes, statutes calling elections, tax levies, and basically budget bills or budget bills junior or trailer bills that have appropriations related to the current state expenses. Those four types of bills are not subject to referendum.